An A here. How come? Nope, that's not going to work. Voice is not going to work with this. Okay, ask a question. How come doctors do not encourage moms to on Okay, so it's not coming up here. How come doctors do not... Oh, let's see if I can short... okay, I don't have enough room to write everything on water. Okay. How come doctor... done. Okay. How come doctors don't encourage... okay, let's try this again. Let me try this again. Water diet. Water diet for newborn after 4 months. For okay, so we're having this discussion. Well, what happened here? Okay, it stayed up there. Good. Okay, so the Robert F. Kennedy keeps consistently is having, and he has a lot of people following him related to this issue about diet and about putting people on better foods and removing sodas and candies from the SNAP benefits and from the school system. I actually tend to agree with him. And the thing I've concluded over my own life is animals at around 4 months, they're weaned and their mom has them drinking water. Animals do not drink milk. They do not drink pasteurized milk. So are doctors working for Wall Street? And they're working for their own self-preservation. Is that what's going on here? So if we have a country of sick people, of very sick people, then we keep going to the doctor all the time to find out what the magical answer is, because we have all these bad products such as candies, Cokes, potato chips, and milk, putting kids on all this milk that animals in the wild are not drinking. And so we are of this earth. Human beings are of this earth, just like animals are of this earth. Now, animals, if a human gives an animal candy, it will eat candy. That doesn't mean it's healthy for it, but it does have a craving for the candy, just like maybe human beings can develop a craving for certain things. But if we eat things naturally from the earth, it's a very bland diet. And there's a lot of animals, like look at alligators. They can live up to 300 years. So why is it alligators in the wild, they can live up to 300 years? And you're going to have a hard time getting a doctor to actually look at an alligator because of their sheer strength. Okay, I guess we don't have any much of a discussion taking place related to this topic because it's a Wall Street. Now the question is water diet for newborns after 4 months. So is formula and milk necessary after 4 months? I don't have enough room to write the whole question in here. I wish I did, but I don't. But that's my question is, should newborns be placed on a water diet after 4 months? Should newborns after 4 months be placed on a strictly water diet instead of encouraging? Doctors are not encouraging moms. I know when I was a new mom at around 4 months, the doctor said I could start feeding my baby some solid foods, but they talked about formula and things that would replace nursing related to breast milk. That's what they called it, nursing moms for people who were, I guess, uncomfortable using the word breast. So they called it nursing moms. So you nurse the formula out of the mammary glands, and which is a secretion that the baby eats to sustain itself from mom. So mom has food for the baby, and that's why mom is encouraged to sometimes to eat a little bit more. She has a little bit excess fat on her body because she's still taking care of two human beings at the same time. So her body is being told, told as in TOLLED, told with extra nutrition taxation on her body, uh, because she's still feeding two people. So the baby's getting larger, but one thing I do remember is the baby has a stomach the size of a walnut. That's what the doctor told me. The baby's stomach is only about the size of a walnut. So I always thought it was kind of crazy to make a bottle, an 8-ounce bottle for a baby with a stomach the size of a walnut. Um, but so I know we've somewhat been shamed related to obesity, and but there I have seen a significant change in our society. It seems like. So I don't know. Does this actually play into self-esteem issues for people? Because I know a lot of people keep asking the question. I mean, there's a lot of shaming that goes on related to obesity and morbid obesity and the fast food joints, and being something for as a way to feed people. It's just not. I mean, you know eating out should be reserved for vacations and maybe special occasions. And well, there was a time the family dining was really, really popular. Um, and sit down pizzas and things like that, going to ball games. And so I mean, in hindsight, it's almost like there's a bona fide conspiracy with Wall Street moving into larger cities, that prop up their products, that prop up the cyclicals, and then they completely exclude smaller cities and smaller rural areas that don't have a budget and don't have the people to sustain something. And so I mean, there has to be some sort of reversal. I mean, putting people in big cities and big metro areas, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So But at the same time, 1990s was the Golden Girls era. I've talked about this before, the Golden Girls era. And who would think? I remember sitting on a couch up in the cold, cold Midwest feeding my baby after she was born, when it got to be winter time. And I wasn't even thinking about that we could be homeless. I wasn't thinking about that stuff, even though I was homeless at times, several different times. And, so people without kids have to be able to take care of themselves too. I think it's important for people to rise up about that. People without kids have to be able to take care of themselves. And inflation is not a friend to anyone. Inflation is not a friend to anybody. And so I didn't get much discussion out of this one. Um, this is more of I must not be matching up with um, the moms. Or the moms are probably working. They're taking care of their kids. They don't have time for the internet anymore. and they're doing their Uber drives. So some mom who's like 9 months pregnant, and then or she had just had her newborn, and some doctor or someone's telling her, well, some court judge, family court judge is like, well, go work for Uber. You can make some money doing that, I hear. It's like, okay, but you're sitting there behind the bench. You're making $300,000 a year behind the bench in family court telling your foster kids to just go drive an Uber when they don't even have a car and they don't have a place to live and they're homeless because they turned 18 yesterday. And now they don't have a place to live. And so you already know that's taking place and that's happening. So anyone here have anything they'd like to input in about this? No, nobody wants to put in much input related to this conversation, it seems like. So I think I'm just going to end it here. Let me ask it one more time. Should newborns be put on just a water diet after 4 months for nutritional purposes, since animals in the wild, the moms tend to wean their babies after about 4 months? And all of them do. And animals in the wild are not just given milk, because that ends. And mom gets tired of her baby suckling on her teats, and then she discourages the baby